Psychology of people who don't post their photos on social media. In a world where everyone is watching, where every smile, every meal, every moment becomes content, there are still people who choose to remain unseen. They scroll, they observe, they think, but they never post their faces. No selfies, no daily updates, no proof of their existence in the digital parade. And that choice says more about them than you might imagine. Psychologists call it selective visibility. It's not shyness, it's intentional. Because to not post in a world built on exposure is an act of rebellion. A quiet declaration, I don't need to be seen to exist. Most people today measure their worth in pixels and likes. Validation has become currency. And the selfie, it's the handshake of the modern age. A ritual that says, I'm still relevant. So when someone opts out, it's not absence, it's strategy. They're not hiding, they're protecting. Some do it out of psychological detachment. They see how social media engineers our emotions like lab rats pressing buttons for dopamine. They've watched people trade authenticity for attention. They've seen how every post becomes a performance. So they stop playing. They step behind the curtain and choose to watch the actors instead. These are the observers, analytical, self-contained, often introverted minds. But there's another kind, the guarded souls. For them, silence is safety. They've been hurt before, maybe betrayed, misunderstood, exposed. They've learned that the more the world knows about you, the more it can twist your story. So they build walls, not from fear, but from wisdom. Because mystery is protection. They're the ones who've seen how quickly admiration turns to mockery, how one wrong post can be replayed, misinterpreted, or weaponized. So they keep their faces offline, not because they're insecure, but because they understand the internet never forgets. Then there are the minimalists of attention. They believe energy follows focus, and they refuse to feed the machine. Every photo, every caption, every share is another breadcrumb for the world to consume. But they choose silence. They choose to live unseen, and that gives them something most people have lost: psychological freedom. But let's be honest, not all silence comes from strength. For some, it's insecurity disguised as control. The fear of judgment, the fear of not looking perfect enough, the fear of being compared. So they say, I don't post because I'm private, when deep down they mean, I don't want to be rejected. To these people, it's not vanity, it's vulnerability. Because social media has made our identities a mirror maze. One wrong angle, one bad comment, and the reflection shatters. But here's where it gets fascinating. Studies show that people who don't post often have a stronger sense of identity offline. They draw self-worth from real interactions, not digital reactions. They're grounded in who they are, not how they appear. They don't need to announce happiness, they live it. They don't photograph meaning, they feel it. They don't curate moments, they inhabit them. And while the rest of the world screams for attention, these quiet few become enigmas. The more invisible they are, the more power they hold. Because mystery is magnetic. In psychology, it's called the scarcity principle. The less available something is, the more valuable it seems. So while others post to be noticed, the ones who stay silent become unforgettable. Think of the most powerful figures in history, the ones who rarely spoke, who let silence speak for them. Steve Jobs, minimal words, maximum presence. Audrey Hepburn, grace and stillness. Even ancient philosophers like Lao Tzu believed, those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know. The psychology of those who don't post is not about secrecy, it's about sovereignty. They don't seek validation because they've already met themselves. They don't crave attention because they understand energy. They don't chase relevance because they've realized something profound. The loudest people often have the least to say. So the next time you come across a blank profile, no photos, no updates, just a name, and maybe a thought, don't assume they're invisible. They might be watching more closely than you think. They might be more real than any filtered face you've seen. Because the person who doesn't post is not hiding from the world is hiding from them.